Hello, everybody. My name is Murilo. I'm here to present to you a very exciting tool for team collaboration called the RocketChat. This is part of the open source solution that you guys are getting from this event. And this is a very important moment to get to know our solution, how we started, where we are going, and what are some of the business cases that we can present of customer success around our platform. Okay, so first of all, why looking for a secure communication platform, right? Nowadays, the enterprise communication is broken. There are a lot of channels, there are a lot of messages, there are a lot of systems, there are a lot of integrations, and the history normally gets lost. So you have the guys working in one silo communication and another guys working another silo communication, and every time that it needs to be integrated, it's a very huge nightmare. So the proposal here is to get some centralized platform where all the communication can be integrated, and you can also collaborate not only internally with your team, but also externally to your customer, to your users, and whatever it is the need that you had. Another important factor or another important subject that we address is related to data security. Nowadays, the data that you handle is pretty much exposed whenever it is making some sense of privacy, right? So some of the vendors or most of the vendors has your sensitive communication started in their platforms, and you do not have much visibility of what is being done with that. So this is one other situation that we can address with our solution platform, right? So you are exposed to different user agreements and different data handling agreements, and this is a way to get everything centralized in the same structure of data and also in the same rules for data encryption. Another important factor that our tool can provide to you, all right? So how can I address all of these problems that I just mentioned? RocketChat is a very solid and a very robust solution that you can rely on to address these matters. We are an open source solution that has nowadays over 1,000 developers around the world. We are very present in all the markets, pretty much all the markets. We as a company have professionals spread around the world. We are nowadays in 27 countries, right? So we have a very close contact to the specific business needs of each territory. And European territory is one of the most important territories in terms of rules. We are kind of leading, you guys are actually leading the rules of data privacy that the world is following right now. So being compliant to the European rules was a very important step for our solution, right? So you can nowadays we are being used by around 12 million users around the world, and we are present in 150 countries, right? So it's a very impressive numbers of users, and our tool can support the enterprise communication for all this amount of users, right? So what we mostly provide, real-time conversation with your colleagues, other companies, other customers, right? And providing the integration of the application that you love. So if you have a use case of an external platform that needs to be pushing notifications to a certain channel of communication, it is possible to do using RocketChat. So your dev team can get to know the pull requests that are getting from the community or the peer reviews requested or wherever they need to access or even if you have a customer support that can signalize eventually problems in your application, this is something that is possible to be done with RocketChat, with these easy integrations that we can provide. We are an open source solutions, as I already said, but we do have a very good documentation on our API. So you can actually see how to get to know the integrations possible, and also how to do that, how to provide that integrations using our platform. What we do address, how do we position ourselves as a product, as a platform, right? We used to say that we have the four facets, right? First of all, we have the top in the image where we are talking about team collab. So we have users, these users can collaborate directly through direct messages, they can collaborate through channels, they can collaborate through discussions, and they can also do phone calls, video calls, everything related to team collaboration, and file sharing, image sharing, whatever the needs you team have to have a better, a good collaboration. So reactions, emojis, and pictures, everything you can imagine is possibly integratable to RocketChat, inclusive integrations to outside ideas. So if you want to have GIF images sent, and you can have an integration that you can provide in our apps store for getting this extra content to your collaboration. On this side, on the right hand side here, we'll be talking about a little bit for the apps integrations. So we do have some integrations with some good systems as CRMs, as ticketing, as customer services applications, as file sharing applications. So the number of integrations that are possible to be done is truly huge, right? And there are lots of providers that already did some integrations, and they could integrate that to our solution through our marketplace. So if you are a software house, or if you are a company that has this knowledge of doing new things, you can do so, and you can integrate that to RocketChat. RocketChat as an open source platform gets licensed under the MIT rules. So we do allow proprietary technology working with our platform. We do not need to open your code obligatory if you don't want so, but for the audience that I'm speaking, it is pretty expectable that we are going to get that open also, because open source software is a movement and a new way to developing technology. We have also on the left-hand side the case of collaborating among companies. So RocketChat instances can be integrated to each other through federation. You can have the cars of different companies belonging to a same holding, or some customers or some partners that can have their own instances, but integrated through federation. So you can find users from one instance to other instances, and it is possible to get chat communication as ubiquitous as email is. I mean, I don't need to know if I'm using Gmail or if I'm using Outlook, or whatever is the way that is hosting my email messages. It's just a matter to get that sent, and RocketChat thinks that chat should be the same way for getting that provided, right? And the last facets that we have is actually the customer engagement, right? The rules. I mean, you can get lots of messaging applications integrated to RocketChat. So everything that comes from the outside world to your collaboration team can be received. You can have some pointed users as outside agents, and they will be receiving this external touches from the customers, and they will be easily integrating the conversation, the communication to the internal team. So I can get eventually a second level support, or a accounts payable guys, or a finance guys that will be ready to help the front end team to get to a better resolution to what your customers are requesting, right? So this is pretty much where RocketChat platform intends to sit and what we are intending to deliver to the customer that decides for getting our applications are there better, right? So moving forward, what's our main difference, right? We can be deployed on a SaaS model or a self-hosted model. I mean, you can get our instance installed in your on-premises infrastructure or eventually in infrastructure that you are the manager. So it can be going to a public cloud, but without having the questions and the doubts that you would have if it is outside providing services, right? You can have full access to the code. So depending on what kind of regulation you have, you can actually making coded testings so you can be compliant to the regulation of your industry. And it is all open. You can get access to it all. You can see how it is working, how it is the mechanics behind of the encryption, how it is being provided, so you can be secure in getting the solution certified for your needs. It is not only for internal conversation. You can get partners interacting to your team, as I already explained. And last of all, privacy and security. We are compliant to GDPR, to Brazilian LGPD. We just got our ISO 27001 renewed, so we are a truly secure communication platform. We are HIPAA compliant, so you can be sure that all the security requirements are followed by our technology. So moving forward, this is more or less what RocketChat looks like. This is a screen capture for my own user. We can see myself up here. And this is an example of channels of interactions and discussions that can be started in the application. This is a channel that we call RocketChat Pets, where all of we Rocketeers can share pictures of our pets. And this was used as an example of what kind of content you can share. So this is a photo being shared. These are some reactions based on emojis. The emojis library can be imported. You can use whatever is the library that you want. You can reply on a message, and you have lots of interactions that can be facilitated by our platform. So let's discuss a little bit about some cases, right? I brought up 3 different cases to discuss of companies that used RocketChat to solve their problems or to meet their business needs. These are actual QR codes that are landing to our customer reference history. So feel free to capture these QRs, and I'll invite you all to read more from these cases, right? Here will be a brief summary of each kind of use, each use case, but you can explore more information from the links that I'm providing. So the first case that I'd like to discuss with you is the Audi Business Innovation one, right? Audi was using HipChat for their internal communication, but HipChat was discontinued a couple of years ago, and they were looking for a solution that could provide them with the same platform for collaboration that they used to have before, right? They couldn't go to other proprietary platforms that works exclusively on a SaaS model because having that self-managed was a requirement that they had, right? So all the other tools that they tested didn't comply to that, and RocketChat could comply, right? They wanted to have an open source solution for that because they wanted to assess and secure that the mechanics and the platform was good to them, right? It was demanded to have the self-hosting so they could get the ownership of the database where the messages was stored and so RocketChat did comply to that also. Before getting RocketChat, they, in order to collaborate with the other companies and the other vendors that compose their ecosystem, they need to provide a virtual machine access so they could be at the same environment of the internal collaborators. And that process used to take 3 weeks to be ready. Right after getting RocketChat implemented, the 3 weeks process decreased to 30 minutes because it was just a matter to provide a user to the RocketChat platform to this vendor, right? Each vendor can have special capabilities and special permissions in our system. There are 196 different permissions that you can set for each user or each group of users, so you can limitate what a user can and cannot do in our platform. And it was just a matter to provide them with a username and they were ready to collaborate to their internal team, right? Another important feature that they could implement was this cluster setup for a low usage saving. I mean, during the day, where the communications are more intensive, they could provide more machine resources and more storage and more network resources, so the tool could be good in terms of usability and speed and so. But by the weekends and by the nights, as the tool was not using that highly, they could remove some of the resources, and that provide that a saving of around 1/3 of what they were used to get in cloud solutions for the same end. So RocketChat, because providing the self-hosted or the self-management shape of implementation, can provide that benefit to its users as well, right? And the main use was related to the chat ops use. It was integrated to the flag system that they had for highlighting software problems, and in a moment that something was identified, they could get this handled quickly by the teams that was detached to work with this kind of cases, right? So this was the main use case, and this is a use case that we are very proud of being part of that important solution in that important company. Another use case that I'd like to bring to you is also in Europe. Now we're talking about Germany. Deutsche Bahn, in case the technology arm that is DB Systel, used RocketChat for started to use RocketChat, in fact, to bring more integration or interaction with their users, right? They wanted a self-managed chat platform with live chat capabilities, in this case integrated to Twilio, because they wanted to rely on the good and old SMS services to get in touch with the end customers. They could integrate some artificial intelligence capabilities, so the most common questions could be answered, and eventually it could be sent to an live agent when the case is not that simple, right? And they could reduce the response time for a question from 5 minutes to 5 seconds, because the solution, the artificial intelligence solution, was able to provide that in a very quicker way, in a very automated way. They use that to create this tool or this platform for attending their customers that they call their Schlaue Heisebuddy. I'm sorry, my German is inexistent, but this is something like that, as this is written here. And but in a very few time, they got some prizes for that platform, because it got very used in a very short time. But they actually started to realize that they could get some of this information that was coming from their users' messages to create a new platform for productivity that they call the Assistify. So whatever is the amount of questioning on the same subject, on the same problem, or the same location that they were receiving, it could raise eventually tickets for the maintenance guys and the maintenance services to get more to a closer look to that situation. And DB Systel could get a creation of a new product based on what they learned to provide to their end customer. And now they have very significant numbers of companies using Assistify as they saw that it could be replicated easily. It was an important case also because back in 2019, they had this requirement of moving from a self-managed environment to RocketChat cloud services. And we could help themselves to make the migration. So this is an important feature that I would like to highlight. You can born in our cloud and then move to our self-managed systems, or the opposite way, right? We do allow that, and you won't be losing any of your white labeling options or integration options. It will be migrated all together. And DB Systel is one of our closest partners nowadays because we do have a very close relation in both ways collaboration solution where they are helping us to get a better product. Not only we are providing them to our platform, but they are helping us to increase ours. So this is a very important shape, or a very important shade, I would say, of an open source solution, right? The collaboration of the community makes the solution be greater. That's pretty much what we've been seeing happening with operational systems based on Linux, right? The community makes it the very best option without any comparison to the proprietary solutions. Also over here, I'm providing with a link. If you have more interested in this case, you can eventually get this QR code captured and go to our platform to get more information about it. The third case that I'd like to highlight is related to Glue. Glue is the most comprehensive open source identity platform on the market, right? They have very strict requirements related to security, and they attend very high regulated industry that prefer not exposing their identity data to third-party hosted services, right? So they did a very broad research on the market in order to get to know what were the best solution they could have, and they did it by getting RocketChat as a very good solution that would comply to everything that they was looking for. As for example, this end-to-end encryption that should be presented in all communication. One important case that I'd like to highlight from this case is that in 5 years of operations, they didn't fill any question ticket to RocketChat. Their product leader there, this says that RocketChat is immediately obviously in how to use that. This is our user interface is very simple, and our integration can be done in a very easy way. So this is something that not only the users can use, but also the administrators and the person that does the integration can very quickly understand RocketChat and get it that use it. And one of the most important use case that they did was the Gitbot integration. So everything that was coming from GitHub in terms of pull requests or peer reviews or whatever is the situation could be easily handled by the development team, right? And there was also interest and very much in the audit conversation feature that we can provide. So it's a very deep panel when the administrators can get the sense of everything that is being discussed in a very easy way. Okay, so in terms of use cases, that was pretty much what I was willing to discuss with you. Again, RocketChat is present in over 150 countries. We are now counting on 12 million users, and there's are some of testimonials of customers that are using us as onshore and king hosts, right? And I personally like a lot of this statement that says that if RocketChat is strong enough for a cybersecurity company to be confident in using it. So this is a very positive comment that we have on our platform. Now, in terms of call to action, now that you get all this information, I invite you all to visit our website. It's just by typing Rocket.Chat. Now you'll be there. We'll be able to get started with our trial. You can get to know our product. You get your trial for our cloud version or eventually for our self-managed version as well. And you can get all your experience from a full licensed version from the beginning by the duration of the trial, right? In the same website, you can get to know our Catalyst program for partnerships. So if you are a developer, if you are a DevOps company, you can come to RocketChat to make a proposal and to show us your business model. We are keeping ourselves as a communication platform, as a peer manufacturer, so the use cases and the business cases are all related to what the partners can imagine from our solution. And finally, I'd like to invite you all to visit our developer documentation, where some code examples are there, all the endpoints that are available, API connections, how can you develop apps in our platform, how can you integrate bots, a lot of things that we've been learning. We do have a lot of care to document that very well, so we can keep the community engaged and the developers happy in using and integrating and propagate RocketChat information and RocketChat existence to their circles, right? So thank you very much, guys. Grazie. That's pretty much what I can talk in Italian, despite of my surname. But I appreciate your attention. Thank you very much for being here with me to now. And please get to know RocketChat and look for us in case you have any very great idea that we can collaborate.